May the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable to thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Our gospel for this week is a complex passage to deal with, like many Bible passages. Its short message is filled with obvious points. The disciple is not above his master, for example. And some opaque ones, there's nothing covered that shall not be revealed, whatever that means. And some daunting ones. He that loses his life on earth for my sake shall find it in heaven. It's the third group that I would like to talk about, and I find three striking messages in this one passage. The first has to do with hares and sparrows, and with us. There's an ever-increasing family of sparrows outside my window, the window in my office, and in my kitchen, a birdhouse that was hung outside. And they're busy making more sparrows. And when they're not doing that, they're chasing a mama cardinal off of her nest in a nest that's outside my office window, defended by her faithful husband. Cardinals are monogamous all their life. As for the hairs on the head, I take that personally since I'm threatened by a little baldness against my genetic heritage. The point is that by illusion, God takes care of each of us repeatedly and individually. Children's sermons as St. Stephen's have emphasized this message, and its implications are incredible. They contrast the individuality of each of us with the infinity of all of us at all times. Each of us, each one of us, out of all the sparrows and hare put together. And that message is, by extension, both humbling. There are so many out of which to find me, and reassuring. God finds me out of so many. The other two passages are of a very different order. The second is that Christ came with a sword. Not a sword that strikes, but one that divides, both at home and abroad. How many of us are pained because the next generation doesn't worship the old-time religion in which we trained them? Some of them merely worshiping differently, others not worshiping at all, no matter how well we raised them. Christ predicted this and saw in it a division that would tear families apart. As he said, and a man's foe shall be they of his own household. But it makes one wonder, how sharp must the sword be? Each generation will inevitably have its own way of belonging to Christ, in which the key is to belong to Christ in some way. He that loves his own way, and only that way, more than Christ, is not worthy of Christ. And that, of course, is no answer, just an attitude. It does not tell us what the limits of tolerance and flexibility are, a problem that troubled us forever. And the church has been racked by movements who declared sharp points and limits, and by those who declared that there are no limits at all. But abroad, the sword is sharper, and we all feel it cut deeply at home. Christians are under attack at a long swath of the world, from the Middle East all the way through Asia to China. The Christian population of Israel and Palestine, Christ's homeland, has declined dramatically, declined about 70% out of social pressures, whereas in the East, the Christian population is under sharp legal, political, and security pressures. The point of this context is that in some parts of the world, to be an ordinary Christian is to stand against life and livelihood threatening pressures for populations who have practiced their wisdom there for generations, not to speak of the new converts. They have their cross to bear, which leads to the third message. Christ spoke of those who lose their life for his sake. Foreseeing the fate of early Christians, in the 3 coming centuries, as well as those to whom you just referred. In some times and places, it is tough to be a Christian, but for us, it is easy. And I often wonder, do the endangered Christians more than challenge us, do they shame us? Probably not one of us has come anywhere near losing life for Jesus' sake. For me, the most unsettling question of the whole Bible is how to be a Christian when it's not difficult. We're all awful sinners, but we are firm believers under no particular challenge. We try to do nice things and lead good lives, but have we found our life only to lose it? The only thing to keep me alive is Christ's promise of salvation to those who believe. But do we treat that as merely an absolution to go and sin some more, as we do willy-nilly? Does one need to have a cross to be a Christian? Normally, I have none. Although for the moment there is an ironic cross, that is, the churches agree to stay shut, enjoying state's permission to do so, while thousands outside march against injustice, shoulder to shoulder on a Sunday morning. Otherwise, I have no cross. How about you?